Be the change you want to see in the world. And I am now changing things. I am now opening.
Right, so we're open.
Paradox Creative Broadcast. This is it.
We're open.
We are now. And now the bar is open. Hello there.
Hello. So it has been 3 weeks, I think, since we last
I lost count.
did. Yeah, I think it was the 2nd of August. Now the 20, I'm just looking at the clock here and the date. 22nd of August, 12:24. No significance in the time there, because there normally is when I look at the clock now. There's 11:11, 9:11. That's a pretty normal time. So I wanted to actually ask you a question. When we last spoke, the world was going through the major part of its change.
It is still going through that.
But when I say the major part, it's all very much doom and gloom and people feeling negative. But since I've been back from my holiday, I know you can be refreshed from a holiday, but I feel a lot different since I've been back for 2 days. Is this shift changing now? Is it come to a different phase in the 20s?
No, your understanding of it has changed because you did disconnect from your home grid, which is here, home in Istanbul, because you live here. Mm-hmm. You disconnected from that home grid and took the part of you that understands and is free to another place, which felt a lot better, which is called a holiday. That's why it's called Holly.
Yeah.
You went on a vacation and you vacated. What did you vacate? Your home grid.
My hometown, yeah.
And you came back to integrate all that goodness into your life now. That's why it feels good.
Because, normally when you have a holiday, you think this is fantastic. I'm away from all the mundane things I do. But then you get back to reality and you think, here we go
you
again. But
get back to work on a Monday.
Yeah.
Mundane things start on a Monday.
But even, I was complaining to you before I went, my back has been I've been in agony for months. And I've actually felt a lot better. I mean, whether this is just psychological, it could very well be. But at this very moment, and since I've been home, I felt pretty good with myself.
What is pain and where does it come from? Where does it originate?
You mind?
Yes, your brain creates the pain. Your brain or your central nervous system gives you an indicator of something going wrong in your body.
Yeah.
And pain is in your mind, not in the limb, not in the organ, not in the place that it feels it is. It's your central nervous system giving you an alert.
Something
That's
wrong
why,
down there somewhere, yeah.
Yeah. Any pain, any physical pain is actually psychological because psychology deals with that part of it, the nervous system.
Can we take
Now,
control
of course,
of
people will react to this.
Sure.
Your behavior, your emotions stem from something, and that something is your consciousness. And that consciousness is also a receptor of the physicality in your body.
Right.
That's why pain, the feeling of pain, although it may originate from the stimuli that comes from a limb, the pain originates from your brain. That's why it may be psychological. When you say it may be psychological, I give you an answer that says, yes, it's in your psychology that you feel the pain. But the pain may originate from a physical part of your body, but where you feel the pain where the pain feeling, the emotion, the stimuli comes from somewhere else.
So mind over matter, having control of your mind, surely it can't be possible to block out feelings of pain.
It is possible.
Yeah?
People walk over coal.
Yes, they do, yeah.
Or you can endure immense amounts of pain. Child labor, think about it that way.
Isn't it? It's quite strange when you look at some people and you think, they have an ability to do this and I can't do it and he can't do it and she can't do it, but he can. What sets us different from other people to be able to control certain parts of our being?
Maybe it's willpower. Maybe it is genetic.
Because walking on hot coal, that would hurt, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it must have hurt. But it doesn't for some people. And they train for that, especially Shaolin monks, when they outperform any expectation when they use their ki power or some other superhuman strength feat. When you see that, it is, although it may look superhuman, it is essentially something that has been trained.
Yeah.
For a very long time.
Yeah.
That's why you can train your brain for anything.
And obviously, people do this, and they become attractions. They make millions on being on television, showing off their talent, if you like it, for whatever you want to call it, lack of a better word. But sure, we can. Some of us can do more. We label it superhuman things than others. Surely, there's going to come a time when we're going to progress and be able to do even more, as we would say, amazing things than we can do now. I mean, take flying, for instance. I mean, you might laugh at this, but would that be possible? Do you think? I mean, I'm surely anything anything can be possible.
Anything is possible if you put your mind to it.
Yeah.
Impossible just takes time.
Yeah.
You know, because think about it this way. About a century ago, would you have thought, no, you wouldn't because you weren't alive, but if you put
Go back
yourself
50
in that,
years. Go back to 50 years, 60 years maybe.
just my generation has seen it all.
Yeah.
Your generation has seen it all. We are in the same generation, although we may be a little decade apart, but we're in
Thank
the
you.
same
I like that
generation.
little decade, thank you.
You know, a tiny one, not a big one, but we have seen it all. Where the world did not have any kind of technology that we see as normal today. We didn't have anything back then. Now we do have it all, and it's normal, it's mundane, it's standard.
Yeah, sure it is. And it's quite, when you think about let's say 200 years ago, they had far less than what people did 100 years ago. And we have far more than what people had 100 years ago.
It's an exponential growth of technology and understanding in the last few centuries because nothing is comparable to anything else that we know of in the past 1,000 or 2,000, at least 2,000
to compare,
years,
was it? So you can't, sure.
But we still think we know it all. And millions of years of evolution on this planet, we just get out there and say something so stupid like, it's always been that way.
It
And you've
hasn't.
only had history for about 3,000 to 5,000 years.
Yeah.
And the oldest thing that you can find on Earth that is human-made is like Göbekli Tepe, which is 13,500 years old. Or you still cannot explain Stonehenge, for example.
No, sure.
And we have that nerve to call ourselves the owners of this planet. We've just been here for a very short amount of time.
I mean, I know it's difficult, and we can't foresee or foretell what's going to happen in the future. But let me just ask you, as we are now into the next 26,000 year cycle, and so many years, how many it is, how far do you think, or how far do you think we will progress from the beings we are now? I mean, I would talk about flying before. Do you think that's going to be possible in this?
Well, if you make your comparison according to,
Because we can compare now than what they couldn't have done it 200 to 300 years ago, but now we can compare maybe.
the criteria of comparison do make the analogy possible. And I don't have a criteria of comparison as to what we will become or what we will be able to do. If you think of it this way, will we be able to fly? I don't know, but if you
wouldn't poo-poo the idea, though, would you? I mean, it could be possible.
how do you define flying?
Well, yeah, sure. We do fly now in aeroplanes.
No. I'm talking about this. Defying gravity. That's what you want to know, right?
Well, maybe it's a possibility that will happen. Maybe it will never happen. But
Defying gravity will be done or will be achieved once we need it that bad to survive.
Okay.
A friend of mine and I had a talk for hours, and he was a very pro-evolution guy and very materialistic. He believes anything that requires belief or anything
it's
that
possible. Yeah.
is not provable by science does not exist and will not be able to be proven
Yeah.
until it is. But he's open. He says people would be flying if the Earth's crust was magma and we would need to fly over it or we would need to hover over it.
But maybe when you look at the changes in this world, maybe this is what will happen in the future.
Maybe.
And surely we would then have to, the human form would change. We would have to have some sort of wing-like structure to us to aid this. Surely.
You may of course discard anything that I say aside as conspiracy theory or just mumbo jumbo, just belief.
I mean, they're
belief in
labeled
the
conspiracy
fantasy,
theories, but not necessarily, are they?
Yeah, or fantasy of
Yeah.
a spiritual calling. But our DNA is being upgraded by light. And when I mean light, people usually think the light that you see from any artificial source.
Imagine someone looking up at the ceiling
Yeah.
with the light bulb.
Well, the light that I'm talking about is radiation.
Yeah.
Because what radiates is light itself. And light is a carrier of information. When I say this, in a spiritual sense, it makes sense. In a materialistic world, how do you think fiber optics work? They carry information via light. That's what I'm talking about. Light carrying information. And the frequency of this light is not visible because it's in radiation bandwidth.
So surely, yeah.
That's why our DNA is being upgraded via gamma rays that the planet is being showered with.
So is this because I read somewhere and I think it was the synchronicity synchronicity key. I'm pretty sure it was, where he was talking about how at the beginning of the last cycle, people automatically started to become more intelligent. They started to play and make instruments, to become artistic. Humanity seemed to totally change.
I did a little research on gamma rays and gamma radiation, what kind of effects they might have on physicality, what we call physicality, and consciousness. It seems that the gamma rays, have an instant effect on physicality, the physical world, and consciousness. Instant. That's why once you're beamed with, or once you're showered with, or once you're exposed to gamma rays, gamma light, you may very well expect some sudden changes. And the whole planet is being bombarded with photons and gamma rays. Again, this is nothing spiritual. This is what the scientists are saying.
Happening, yeah.
And August 15, a guy photographed Aurora Borealis, which only happens, and by chance, at the equinoxes. Mm-hmm. August 15. Where does it come from? I don't know. But the planet is beaming with energy and light now. And the Schumann resonance has risen more than double. It is said that it is going to rise up to 21 hertz. And that 21 hertz is triple the amount of vibration it used to produce, 7.83.
So when you say this is going to rise, is it rising for a certain amount of time, or is this going to be the?
It is rising
norm?
now.
Is it going to be the norm? Well, then stay.
No. It is rising now to that point, and it will maybe stay at that point because this is what the ascension process is of the planet, because the planet is now becoming something more than what she used to be. Being bombarded by light is nothing coincidental, and nothing is coincidental if you think about it that way. The whole cycles of let me give you
coincidence is something we use when we can't explain something.
Exactly. And if you can see the bigger cycle of change that is happening, and it was to come, and you haven't been alive that long to see that it takes 25,920 years in exact form. You just think that it's a coincidence, or you can't see the cycle as big as that with your 70 to 100 year lifespan. But there are ancient, or at least close to now, historical remains in Akashic records, not only Akashic, but in human history, historical records that show this has been an information evident, known to many cultures around the world, especially Mayan.
Oh, you read about, you read in certain books about gods being seen fighting in the sky in chariots and
Mahabharata, that's the Hindu origin. Well, it's not only that. In ancient Chinese tradition, in Egyptian and Mesoamerican, they all talk about very similar things in very similar form and close to very similar dates. That's why the whole cycle of change that is now coinciding with the end of another cycle is like having a Monday on the 1st of January. Monday is the beginning of the week, and the week begins on the first day of the year, which is the first day of a month. It's 3 points coinciding with each other, and we call that syzygy in cosmology, in astrology. Syzygy is the alignment of planetary bodies or celestial bodies, more than 3. It's not only that, I think it should be Earth, Moon, and Sun.
Right.
It's just like that. The alignment was known to other cultures which did not have technology as we know it now. But they had more understanding of what we don't have now. That's why they predicted this date to come, and it has arrived. Everything will converge into one huge alignment by the end of September, 27th or 28th of September, and it coincides with another holiday. What a coincidence.
Wow.
And that is very reminiscent of the Mayan calendar ending in 2012. People expected the world to end.
Sure, and people are saying, well, it's 3 years since it happened and nothing happened. But,
a lot has happened.
Change takes time.
Think about it this way. In 2013, as little as 5, as much as 7 nations rose, and huge rallies of protests took place all around the world, from Brazil to Turkey. In the same year, in the same freaking months. And they were all coinciding with a blood moon, which is now happening by the end of September, the 4th blood moon.
There's been a few blood moons over the last couple of months, hasn't there?
And the one in July. Yeah, the beginning of July. The one that happened by the first week or 10th. I don't remember. Anyway, 8th or 9th of July was another blood moon, which was not expected.
Yeah.
And it was only seen in very few places. I happened to photograph it. That's why I know. And I looked into it and I found out that...
And that's why I know, because I saw your photographs. That's why I know.
And they coincided again with the Star of Bethlehem.
Yeah.
Which didn't happen for, what year is it? 2015. It didn't happen for more than 2,000 years and some decades, short ones.
So
the Star of Bethlehem
Star of
is the
Bethlehem
convergence of
yeah, sure.
Venus and
Yeah.
Jupiter in the sky,
That's right, yes.
very close to each other.
Yeah.
And they were behind me while I was taking the photo of the blood moon rising, the full moon rising on the horizon, not on the horizon, but above a mountain something. It was right behind me. I was like, yeah, this is a time that is...
This is the change. Yeah. This is
This,
the change.
this is a time that is very much different than what anyone would expect, but no one understands it. If you don't know what date or time it is, there has to be someone to tell you what time it is.
Certainly, sure.
Looking at
We've
a
talked about
clock.
This, yeah.
Yeah. You will feel the effects of it when the sun rises. Okay, it's morning now. You will feel the effects of it when the spring comes. Oh, it's not winter anymore. The year must have changed. Just like gravity, just like love. You can only describe it by showing the effects of it, by showing the results of it. How do you explain gravity? My ass is on the floor. That's it. There's nothing else.
That's it, yeah.
It just pulls you. How? You're standing. You don't know any way else. That's the norm
There
for
is
you.
no explanation for it.
Yeah.
Because as we've always said, there's, what happens, and that it just happens. We
Whatever
don't need to
is
know. We don't need to know.
perfect
Yeah.
for that moment alone. And being perfect and excellent, as we talked about it before, are two different things. The moment is perfect for anything to occur.
Yeah.
Does it? I don't know. You are the one to decide it. You are the center of your own universe. I am the center of mine. We converge. We think about it this way. We look at the world from our own perspective.
Everybody has a different perspective, of course.
We are different holes opening up to what we call objective reality. It's there. Even if you close your eyes, it's there because someone else didn't close their eyes. If you disconnect any and every machine, computer, device connected to the internet, does internet exist?
In our minds.
Minds? Does the internet physically exist?
No.
No,
Of course not.
because it is the transaction of information. It is the traffic that happens that we call the internet. Is a stock market if nothing is exchanged?
It's not a stock market if there's nothing to exchange.
It's just the potential of a stock
Yeah.
market. That's it. The world is there because we look at it. If any and everyone would perish from this planet, would it exist? We don't know. There's no one to tell you that it does.
No, that's right. Uh-huh.
Did it exist?
Well, we know it has existed from as far back as we can go with records, but did it exist before that? Don't know.
We think that
We
it
assume it
did exist
did, yeah.
now. So that far point in history exists now.
Yeah.
And the whole potential of a future exists now. If you die, that's your day of doom. Your Armageddon, your personal Armageddon. You're
Isn't
done.
it? Yeah.
So it all boils down to one thing. We are now being upgraded to crystalline. What is crystalline? The structure of our DNA is organic. What is organic? Organic is carbon-based. Any
So our
matter
carbon
that
is
is
being-
carbon-based is organic.
Yeah.
And carbon is not only dark, but light as well. Carbon dioxide poisons you. When you put carbon under huge amounts of pressure, it turns into coal, or it is a necessary part of coal. And coal, under huge amounts of pressure, turns into diamond.
Yeah.
Diamond's density is much higher than coal, but it is transparent. When you condense physical existence, when you condense matter, it becomes almost invisible, just like diamonds.
Totally transparent.
They
Yeah.
refract light.
Yeah.
And coal, it doesn't even reflect light. It's black.
Yeah.
At higher qualities, it starts to reflect whitish hue on the black surface. And after huge amounts of pressure, it becomes diamond.
So, like, everything kind of works the same, as I imagine. So, if this is what happens to carbon, to coal, which turns into diamonds, this is what's happening in this world. We're changing into maybe something better.
Again, comparison is futile because nothing is better, nothing is worse. It's just different.
Well, yeah, maybe we'll change into something totally different. Yeah.
We will. We are changing into something totally different. We have been talking for over 20 minutes now. Are we the same people?
Sure we are. Yeah.
No, sure we are not. Because our understanding has expanded. We have aged for 20 minutes because there's entropy in this planet. Because everything is dying. We have breathed in a certain amount of air and we have farted out a certain amount of air. We are not the same people.
Do you know, it's quite interesting. As soon as you said that, I said, yeah, of course we are. But this is a perspective I think most people have in life. We're the same. We never change. We don't change.
Yeah, change is the only constant.
It's the only thing that happens, isn't it? Yeah, surely.
Whatever is not changing is the change itself.
Yeah.
Change is the only constant. So, what is change?
Change is now happening as we speak.
Because what difference would it have if it didn't change?
If it didn't change, we wouldn't be progressing. We wouldn't be moving on. We wouldn't age. We'd stay exactly the same as we were, surely.
Maybe this is the dream of waking reality.
It's interesting. It certainly makes you think. And on that point, I'm going to have a cup of coffee and think about what we've just been speaking about. Thank you very much.
I cannot have a cup
Always
of coffee
fantastic to
today,
speak
but
with you.
maybe tomorrow.
Oh, you still fasting
Yeah,
today?
yeah.
Yeah. Good luck with that. I don't know why I
Thanks.
say good luck. You always do it. We'll do it again next week. Thanks, mate.
Bye.